Early in the morning.
What's going on, the people? It's your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we're back with another episode of Love Island. First things first, guys, Mitch isn't human. Mitch is not human. He got dropped on his head far too many times. Guys, I promise you, his parents are withholding a very, very deep and dark secret from him. They clearly played football with his head when he was a kid. Genuinely. He ain't all there. He is neurologically challenged. And you can see, I don't know, maybe the apple don't fall far from the tree, because I'm sure I was getting glimpses of, you can see a lot of Mitch and his parents, you understand? He ain't all there, man. And you know what, let's just get straight into this episode, guys. Like the video for me, hit the bell to be notified for me. Please press that subscribe button for me. It's road to 50k. I would love to get 50k by the end of the year. Who knows, man? It's a graft, it's a grind out there. But anyway, so the episode starts here with Abby wanting to speak to Scott, right? And this Scott brother just hates Abby. Like, he actually hates Abby. She goes up to talk to him and he's like, oh, as you know, I want to speak to you, etc. He's just like, nah, I'm not on it, I want to speak to the boys. Okay. Wow, Scott don't care, man. Scott don't care. She just wants to squash it with him and find out. And in fact, she even says in the morning afterwards that she wants to pursue something with him. At the very same time, he's saying, yo, we need to become friends. Fuck this. Yeah, I ain't on this Abby thing. Right. And I don't know what happened to Sammy, but in fact, I said this about a week or two ago, right? I said, don't at me, I'm embarrassed, but I actually like Sammy. I like Sammy, yeah. Sammy, outside of the way he dealt with Jess and dealt with all these women, I would definitely be friends with someone like Sammy. I think he's funny. I think he's cool. I think he's a cool brother. And he was actually the voice of reason in this episode. Like, he was actually talking that real. Sammy's definitely had a transformation, man. He's had a new character arc. But again, I won't forget how mad he was moving with all the women. But still, Sammy basically holds Ty accountable straight up to his face. Yeah, he was saying, you know when. It's like me, when I was like 12 years old, I cut my dad off about 12, 13 years old. You know when you finally stand up to your dad, you finally stand up to your parent, you say, F this. Yeah, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. This is toxic. That's exactly what Sammy was on. Sammy took that risk, yeah? Sammy said, Papa Ty, yeah, Daddy Ty, you know what? I think you were too hard on Whitney. Yeah, if someone had said that to Els, you wouldn't have taken it. Yeah, big up Sammy. Big up Sammy for finally having the balls to confront his father. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. It takes a lot of balls to you know what I'm saying, to confront your daddy. But anyway, Sammy holds Ty accountable and says, listen, that it ain't on. You're way too hard on Whitney. I agree. That's why I gave him Donut of the Day wholeheartedly. But we all know who Donut of the Day is on this episode, so we ain't got to talk about that. Yeah, Lachlan is basically pissed at Ty for being rude in it. But Lachlan is not one of those people that holds grudges. He wants to squash beef, and that's why he even encouraged Whitney to squash it with him as well. Like, Lachlan's a good guy, man. I don't dislike Lachlan at all. Now Tyreek pulls Lachlan and basically says, like, you know, can I chat to you? And he apologizes. He straight up says, I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I shouldn't have disrespected Whitney like that in front of you. I was snappy, it was emotional. I just didn't like the way that you were pillow talking. And Lachlan basically stands on it. He stands on all 10 toes. He says, you know what? I wasn't pillow talking. I'm going to chat to my girl about certain things. It wasn't that deep, etc., etc. And in that moment, obviously Tyreek says, he just apologizes. He takes accountability. He said he instantly regretted it. Fine, no problem. He also did raise the point that, you know, the reason why he said it is that Whitney gives her opinion a lot. She chimes in a lot and she can't take it. Now, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Whitney does give her opinion a lot and she can't take it as well as she dishes it out. However, you're not one to talk, Tyreek. You're exactly the same. You're both very, very good at dishing it out. But when people try to hold you accountable, you don't really like it that much. Now, obviously, Tyreek got brownie points today because he held himself accountable. He let Lachlan hold him accountable. He let Sammy hold him accountable, whatever. But at the end of the day, him and Whitney are very similar. So it's quite interesting hearing Whitney say later in the episode, like, oh yeah, he apologized, but we're not going to be best mates. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's very interesting because you're very similar. You're very, very similar. And it's probably because they're so similar that they probably won't get on that well outside of the villa. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Either way, he then tries to approach Whitney and Whitney just mugs him off. She says, no, like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't take disrespect. Like, this ain't the Tyreek show, etc., etc., etc. And again, I do think it's quite ironic, man. I do think it's quite ironic that Whitney harps on about I don't take disrespect. I think, you know, etc. etc. when she categorically was disrespectful to Ella. Yeah, I don't care about your bias. I don't care about how much you ride Whitney's nuts. I'm telling you, it's a fact. Yeah, yes, Ella was disrespectful with that whole age comment, or oh yeah, I can tell. But there's no, like, what Whitney said to Ella and how she said it was completely disrespectful. To call her the most selfish person, you know, I know selfish, you are the most selfish person I've ever come across type thing. That's not how you talk to someone. That's disrespectful. That's rude. So I thought that was quite ironic how she really didn't like the way Ty spoke to her and doesn't appreciate disrespect, but she has been guilty of disrespect herself. I thought that was quite ironic. But at the end of the day, I completely back Whitney in that situation. Tyreek should never have spoken to her like that. Again, that's why I called him out on it. He's a donut of the day for me yesterday for that. And yeah, I've got no problem with Whitney putting him on the sideline and saying, listen, I'll apologise. Sorry, I'll accept your apology, or I'll listen to your apology in my own time. You understand that? I've got no problem with that. So shout out Whitney, shout out Ty for obviously squashing it in the end anyway. But Mitch and Scott talk. Now guys, I swear down, yeah, this Mitch brother, I promise you, his parents were bored when they were younger. They said, yo, you want to go football? Do you want to play wall ball? Yeah, they couldn't find a ball. Sports Direct ran out, JD Sports ran out, so they started kicking Mitch's head in. That's exactly what they must have done, because the guy has no brain cells. He's not there. Yeah, he is not all there. He's not wired correctly. You understand? Is just banging on to Scott. Not even about the knobhead comment. In fact, we'll do it in chronological order, linear fashion, right? Scott explains the knobhead comment. He says, I'm sorry I called you a knobhead, but like I didn't appreciate how you were moving at the time. You were moving weird, you're moving mad. But ultimately Scott says, I don't regret it. In the moment, you were a knobhead. And again, Mitch, straight away, don't call me a knobhead. Don't call me a knobhead. Yeah, I don't care about, don't disrespect me in front of everyone. That's what you were doing. That's what you were doing. You were disrespecting me. You called me a knobhead. I don't appreciate that. I'm thinking, Mitch, shut up, man. You like, bro, man, just get out of here, man. You're not all there. And then he starts talking about, like the way I see it, you've been leading on Abby. Yeah, me and Abby don't get on, but like, you shouldn't be leading her on. You should just tell her what's what. You should tell her the truth, set her free. Fam, what does it have to do with you? Why are you so obsessed with her? I just wanna know. It's clear as day. You literally still hung up on Abby, probably the same way you're still hung up on Molly, and you're just a twat, genuinely a twat. Why do you care? Why does it matter? What does Abby and Scott's relationship have to do with you? Yeah? If it was a friend of yours, if it was, say, I don't know, he ain't got no friends, but say he had a good friend in there, right, and she was being disrespected, then you can support Abby. And Abby is allegedly, and apparently, your sworn enemy in there. So why do you care what Scott does to her? Oh yeah, but it's about, even though me and Abby, we're not friends, it's just about the disrespect. Fam, shut up, man. You're just a waste, man, bro. I swear that. You're literally a pure waste of space, and it's crazy that Mitch has lasted this long. He says, stop leading her on. Just shut up, man. You're a weirdo, bro. You're a weirdo. Whitney and Tyreek finally speak, and he essentially says, you know, I regretted it straight away, and I'm sorry for talking to you like that. And Whitney basically says, I understand sometimes these things can be said in the heat of the moment, but I do question, is it actually in your character? And I also think the same thing. I don't think it's necessarily in his character, but I think it's part of his personality to be snappy like that, and I think it's something that he needs to unlearn. I don't think it's a character trait. I think it's something that, again, 24 is not young. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I mean, you're young, but you're not a baby. You should be coming. You know, when did I? And to be fair, I'll give you until 25, because 25 I completely evolved. 25 years old, I completely changed. I transformed into a different person, completely, mentality-wise, physically, everything I changed. So you still got time to grow. You're not even an adult fully fledged until 25, in my opinion, anyway. Well, I think that's when your prefrontal cortex, is it vortex? The part of your brain that's fully developed anyway, at 25. But yeah, either way, like I did lose some respect for Ella as well, OG Ella, because she just didn't say anything. Like, if that's your brethren, if that's your friend, you should say to Ty, like, Ty, don't speak to her like that. Like, you're gonna regret that. I don't care how close you allegedly are. But Ella just kind of sat there silent, whatever. Ella B and Mitch were in bed, and she says, you know, it wasn't nice seeing that clip after 2 weeks of getting to know you, having feelings for you now. And like, Mitch is like, yeah, I understand. The guy's full of shit. He's fake. He's so fake. He's a snake. He's fake, and there's nothing real about him. And Whitney just says, yeah, I'm probably not gonna be best mates with Ty. Cool. The morning recap comes around and Scott says he wants to end it with Abby while she wants him back. And I'm just thinking, wow, this Abby girl's going out sad. And I see people in my comment section, I see people online just saying, yo, at this point, Abby just deserves a hug. I just want to give Abby a hug. And to be fair, I do feel a little bit sorry for her because I know she wants to find someone. But at the same time, bro, like, I don't care. Because she doesn't take accountability for what she's done in any of the relationships. Now, her and Scott, I don't think she did anything wrong with Scott, if I'm being honest, to be fair. She just wanted to see more affection from Scott. He didn't feel her, so he doesn't give her more affection. So she didn't really do anything wrong with Scott, but she was wrong with Mitch. She was wrong and strong. And Mitch was also wrong, by the way. Mitch was incredibly wrong. They're both wrong. But I don't really feel any sympathy towards Abby. I'm glad she's gone as well. Mitch in the mornings talking about how he just, again, Scott is the only thing coming out this guy's mouth. He is obsessed. I think he wants to blow off Scott. Honestly, he needs to join that whole Medi, who's that Farmer Will. He needs to join all of them and what's that, Lord Farquaad. Just get in your fruit salad and blow each other off because he clearly likes Scott. So whatever, he's just obsessed. He's just fed up. He's like, oh yeah, I'm fed up with it, to be honest. I'm fed up with it. Fam, you're the one keeping the whole story alive. Talking about it's the villa, it's the talk of the town, talk of the villa. You're just moist, man. You're a waste, man, genuinely. Anyway, and Sammy, my MVP of the episode, basically saying, yeah, listen, you need to be careful with your obsession because Ella will be looking at you like, why do you care so much? Yeah, she'll be annoyed, she'll be hurt. Yeah, that's how it could come across. He's the voice of reason. He says that to Mitch. Whatever. Abby pulls Scott and he's just like, she goes, Scott, and he goes, and I'm thinking, this guy hates that. He just don't want to be anywhere near this girl. It's madness. And I didn't really understand the first part of the conversation, how when he was talking about, he doesn't really want to be hated by Abby, so he just doesn't really want to lead her on, so he wants to cut it out. And I'm thinking, that was a bit of a weird thing to say, but I didn't really get all that. But ultimately, she just says, I don't feel any interest coming from you. And he agrees. He says, I'm not actually at the stage of liking you. I feel like we're better as friends. And the way he said it was brutal, it was cutthroat, but it was honest. And I'm sure the Scott Brigade will be riding his nuts for that, saying, oh yes, Scott's amazing, he's amazing. But yeah, they basically ended on friends, and she just was a bit confused, a bit conflicted. She's sad because she looks around and she sees that everyone else has got what she wanted. Abby, I can tell you for free, no one has a relationship that you think they have. They're all full of shit and none of them are gonna last. So dry your eyes, mate. The rest of them are all done for as well, so don't worry, you're not the only ones, you're just the first. Yeah, and they're, the couples are talking about it, and Ella B and Mitch are cuddling, and she says, oh, has he ended it? And Mitch is just looking eagle-eyed, watching, like a hawk in the wings, just waiting for his time. He's a weirdo, bro. He's just like, oh, about fucking time. And I'm like, bro, man, Mariah Carey really wrote that song about you, man. Obsession. So the nighttime comes, I think, and the couples basically break away from everyone, and Scott and Abby are just talking about how they're better as friends, cool, whatever. Zach and Molly's just talking about how they like each other. They're talking about being in the bottom three, and I've got to give Zach credit because Zach, yeah, he's been consistent. This is the thing that you know about me. I always appreciate consistency. Zach from the very beginning has never really cared about what people think. He's never really got suckered in to the whole reality TV hype of it. He is different. I believe he is different in terms, yeah, he's boring, yeah, he's vanilla, but he's one of the only few real ones. I'm talking like real, where he's a real life person. He doesn't care about these things. I believe that. Yeah, some people probably think he's playing games because he's been with Molly and all that. I don't believe that. I completely disagree with that opinion. I think he doesn't care about the votes. He doesn't care about all this fake fugazi stuff. I think he's just kind of rolling with it now. And he does say, listen, respectfully, I'm not here for votes, innit? Like, I've got what I wanted, and fair enough. I mean, it is what it is. I think the same about Tyreek, but a lot of people are like, oh, no offense, but I cannot believe you can't see that Tyreek is a game player. As if they know for a fact he's a game player. No. It's an opinion you have, the same way I have an opinion. So like, what I'm saying? Get off your high horse, humble yourself, yeah? I do think Zach is real. I don't think he's like all these other reality TV wannabes and stuff. I think he's just like a normal brother. But anyway, Tyreek and Lox are with Ella and Whitney, and they're just discussing Riz. Cool. Ella says to Mitch that you only talk about Scott and Abby. Like, she's coming to him like, what I want to be the priority. Why are you not focusing on me? Why are you so obsessed with everyone else, and especially Scott and Abby? And he's just talking about, oh yeah, it's the talk of the villa, it's the talk of the villa. Man, you're a weirdo, man. Honestly, I really blame your parents for booting your head in as a child, and for mistaking your headpiece as a size 4 football or something, but maybe a size 3 because your brain's too small, man. The dumping comes around. Molly and Zach, Abby and Scott, and Mitch and Ella are all vulnerable, and then the producers who are clearly just being pricks again, trying to drag it out, making the people vote. So they vote Abby and Scott. Understandable. Yep, Scott had to go, Abby had to go. They weren't in a real couple. Scott was itching to bounce anyway, but anyway, Mitch hugs Scott and Abby, and he basically says, you know, he just says, well, I don't know, he just hugs them on some fake shit, and she's, I don't know if you lot picked up on it, but Abby's like, oh yeah, see you soon maybe, or something like that. Them two will probably get together after the villa, to be honest, because yeah, it's all fit that. Like, Mitch is finished, by the way. Mitch is just a finished individual. Mitch has to go next, by the way. He has to go next. There's no two ways about it. He must go. The fact that he said, I think Ella B's fake, just before they have to start voting, it has to be a setup. Like, it's like he wants to set himself up to go, so he can follow Abby out. Like, it's madness. So yeah, Mitch, you're wholeheartedly my donut of the day today, because literally, as the votes come in, or as they're getting ready for their final dates, my man, out of nowhere, completely unprovoked, goes to Loxia, he goes to Lockham, he goes, I think Ella B is fake. And he's like, you do? And he goes, I think she's more bothered about being here than like being with me or something like that. That there is complete and utter bullshit. The same girl that said to you in bed while she's cuddling you, I have feelings for you. That was hard for me to see after 2 weeks. Why are you not prioritizing me? I feel like you don't prioritize me because you're focused on them. What part of that gives you an inkling that she's just here for the gameplay and or here to be in the villa? It's the final week. It's not like a bombshell's gonna come in and switch it up, is there? Like, what? You're not all there. I'm sorry, you're not. And I've been saying it from in fact, I said it from the first week. I said it pretty much from the jump. I called it how much of a snake he was from the jump. He ain't all there. Locken says the same thing to Ty. He says, yeah, Mitch just called Ella B fake. And he goes, what, Mitch? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, brilliant. Because that's just, he's just a laughing stock. He's a loser and a laughing stock, and they don't take him serious because he's messy Mitch, and he must get evicted ASAP. He can't be in this villa anymore. It's a travesty that he made it this far. Now, don't get me wrong, for entertainment purposes, great, but in terms of his deserving nature, he deserves shit, and he shouldn't be there. He just basically says that he feels that everyone else's relationship is more real as theirs. Bro, the reason your relationship is fake is that's coming from your side. You are fake. Ella B even comes into the room and he gives her a kiss just after he called her fake. He is a disgrace. Absolute. Mitch is disgusting, and he needs to get out. He needs to get dumped out of the villa ASAP. So I believe he will get dumped out of the villa, especially after those comments, because he set himself up to fail there. But ultimately, guys, the guy's a loser and the guy's a mess. And yeah, I'm not at work today, so I could potentially get tonight's Love Island out, because I end up calling in sick. I had a bit of a rough night, pulled, a bit belly problems and whatnot. But so I'll try my utmost to get the video done tonight. But if you do see it tomorrow, it is what it is. Life you know how it is, man. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next damn video. What the hell do I know? I'm just a man. He's 20s. Peace.